Welcome to this lecture on the characteristics of ionic bonds. Imagine two very strong magnets snapping together with incredible force. In chemistry, an ionic bond works exactly like those magnets, but with electrical charges. Today, we will explore how these invisible forces shape the physical world around us, from the salt on your table to the electrical signals in your brain. To begin our journey, let us understand what an ionic bond actually is. Atoms want to be stable, and they achieve this by gaining or losing electrons. This creates oppositely charged ions, positive cations and negative anions. The electrostatic attraction between them acts in all directions, locking millions of ions into a massive, repeating three-dimensional grid called a crystal lattice. It is not a single physical connection, but a powerful, all-around electrical hug holding the structure tightly together. Now that we understand the lattice structure, let us look at how it affects physical properties. Because the electrostatic force holding the lattice together is incredibly strong, ionic compounds are almost always hard solids at room temperature. You need massive amounts of heat to melt them. However, they are also very brittle. If you hit an ionic crystal with a hammer, the layers shift. This brings ions of the exact same charge next to each other. Since like charges repel, the crystal instantly shatters. Understanding why they shatter leads us to ask exactly how strong are these bonds? To truly understand why some ionic bonds are stronger than others, we look at the physics of electrostatic attraction, specifically Coulomb's law. This law tells us that the pulling force depends on two main things: how big the electrical charges are and how far apart they are. Simply put, ions with bigger charges pull harder, and ions that are closer together pull harder. This relationship we just discussed can be expressed perfectly with a mathematical formula. Here is Coulomb's law. F represents the electrostatic force of attraction between the two ions, measured in newtons. The symbol K is a constant. The variables Q1 and Q2 represent the electrical charges of the cation and the anion. Finally, R represents the distance between their centers. If the charges increase, the top part of the fraction grows, making the force much stronger. If the distance increases, the force drops off rapidly. Now that we have our formula, let us see this with a concrete example. Imagine a sodium ion with a charge of +1 and a chloride ion with a charge of -1. They are separated by a tiny distance of 2 times 10 to the power of -10 meters. To make the math easier, we will combine the standard constants into a single constant called C. We will use our simplified Coulomb's law to find the magnitude of the attractive force. Continuing with our calculation, we plug our specific values into the equation. We substitute +1 for the sodium charge and -1 for the chloride charge. The distance r is replaced by our given value. Since we want the magnitude of the force, we take the absolute value of the charges, which gives us exactly 1. On the bottom, squaring that incredibly tiny atomic distance gives us 4 times 10 to the power of -20. Let us finish this calculation to see the final result. By dividing 1 by 4 times 10 to the power of -20, we get our final relative force. The answer is 0.25 times 10 to the power of 20 times C. This massive number shows just how incredibly strong the electrostatic attraction is at such tiny atomic distances, which perfectly explains why salt crystals are so hard to melt. That massive force leads us to another practical example: predicting melting points. Let us compare sodium chloride and magnesium oxide. The distance between the ions in both crystals is roughly the same, so we can ignore the distance variable and focus entirely on the product of their charges. The compound with the larger charge product will have the stronger force. For sodium chloride, we have charges of +1 and -1. Continuing our comparison, we calculate the relative force factor for sodium chloride. The force is proportional to the absolute value of +1 multiplied by -1, giving a factor of 1. Now we do the exact same calculation for magnesium oxide. Magnesium has a charge of +2 and oxygen has a charge of -2. We multiply these together and take the absolute value because we only care about the strength of the pull. Let us look at the final comparison. The force factor for magnesium oxide is 4. Because this is 4 times larger than that of sodium chloride, the ions in magnesium oxide pull on each other much more strongly. It takes significantly more heat energy to break the magnesium oxide crystal apart. This matches real-world data. Sodium chloride melts at about 801 degrees Celsius, while magnesium oxide melts at a staggering 2852 degrees Celsius. Beyond melting points, these strong bonds also dictate how ionic compounds interact with electricity. In their solid state, the ions are locked tightly in their crystal lattice and cannot move. Because the charges are stuck in place, solid ionic compounds do not conduct electricity at all. They are complete insulators. However, if you melt the solid into a liquid or dissolve it in water, the rigid lattice breaks apart. The ions are now free to swim around, allowing electrical current to flow easily. This ability to dissolve brings us to our next key characteristic: solubility. Ionic compounds generally dissolve very well in polar solvents, such as water. Water molecules have their own slight positive and negative electrical ends. When you drop an ionic solid into water, these molecules surround the ions, acting like tiny magnets that pull the crystal apart piece by piece. However, they will not dissolve in non-polar solvents, like oil, because those liquids lack the electrical charges needed to pull the ions away. Let us visualize exactly how this dissolving process works. On the left side of this diagram, you can see the rigid, alternating grid of the sodium chloride crystal lattice. Notice the water molecules approaching it. The slightly negative oxygen ends, shown in red, are attracted to the positive sodium ions. Meanwhile, the slightly positive hydrogen ends are attracted to the negative chloride ions. The water molecules surround the ions and physically carry them away into the solution, leaving them fully hydrated and free to conduct electricity. Now that we have seen how they dissolve, it is important to understand why this matters in the real world. Understanding these characteristics is crucial for countless applications. Because compounds like magnesium oxide have incredibly high melting points, engineers use them to line industrial furnaces that melt steel. Furthermore, the fact that ionic compounds dissolve and conduct electricity is the entire basis of human biology. Our nervous system relies on dissolved sodium and potassium ions to send electrical signals from the brain to our muscles. To wrap up our lecture, let us review the most important ideas we have covered today. First, ionic bonds are powerful electrostatic attractions between oppositely charged ions, not physical sticks. Second, this all-around pull creates rigid, brittle crystal lattices that require massive heat to melt. Third, Coulomb's law dictates that larger charges and shorter distances create stronger bonds. Finally, while they are insulators in solid form, melting or dissolving them frees the ions to conduct electricity perfectly. You now have a solid understanding of ionic bonds.